Hey guys, J-Man here for another edition of Classic Comics, which used to be our podcast show, Sean and I, but we've changed it to a YouTube live stream because that's what I guess people do. So I thought since I'm doing live streams, I may as well resurrect that old Classic Comics thing. And today we're going to be talking about Captain America 100, but actually I lied a little bit. We're going to talk about Tales of Suspense as well. So there's a couple of issues that lead up to it. To Captain America 100, and we're going to keep it really loose. So, just a quick few updates. This Tuesday, Steven and I will be back talking about the weekly Women of World Wrestling. So, that's going to cover NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. That'll be this Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That's our normal stream. Wednesday, we're going to be back on the Action Elite. I believe that's going to be this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Keep an eye out for that. We're going to be talking about The Last Dragon, one of the movies that I love. We were supposed to do it last week. Complications arose, so we're doing it this Wednesday. And then next Thursday and Friday, it's going to be random. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We might do another Classic Comics. I was thinking of doing some Kurt Swan Superman stuff. We might do. I was thinking about doing first appearance of Wonder Man as well. That was up there. Where we may do a Days of High Adventure. We might even do a 90s comic stream. I don't know. We're gonna keep it pretty loose, so we're gonna figure out how it goes from there. But hey, Arkham, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. That's what people do. All right. Okay, so I can't talk about this comic by my. Well, I guess I could talk about it by myself, but it would be not as cool as having my co-host, which is hello. All right, so are you pumped for Captain America 100?
I am.
I'm actually like super pumped.
Yeah, this is the era I think of when I think of Cap.
Well, this is Captain
like
America.
not even the era that I was reading Cap in, like, the late 80s. It's this like action oriented, quick like Tales of Suspense was all like quick action stories. You're just into it, and then it like dovetails into the Cap standalone.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that super quickly. I think most people kind of already know the story, but we'll talk about it really quickly just to get going. Okay, so we do have another special guest actually today, and he was on a while ago, back when I was doing the Amazing Fans, I believe was the stream, and he runs the Captain America Comic Book Fans Facebook group, and there's also a podcast. So guys, there is a link to the website, his website. It's pinned in the chat, okay? And also you can find it if you're watching this later or like listening to it later or whatever, you can find it in the description of this video as well. So just go to the description and all of the links are in there. And I'm a member of this Facebook group. I've been a member for since we had that discussion, whatever that was, and the podcast is awesome. So I'll let him talk about it. So I don't have normally I try to do an intro for everybody. I don't have a specific intro, but I found something that is somewhat cool. I think you'll like. So let's play that for him here real quick and then bring him in.
Nice.
That was the best. Is that the best MCU moment?
100%. 100%. I have a funny story for that.
Go for it.
So I'm sitting in the movie theater, opening night, of course, Comic Geek, right?
Yep.
And I'm there with my wife. I'm there with my 2 kids. And I, having been a comic book fan, know Steve Rogers can lift Mjolnir, right? I mean, what comic fan doesn't know that, right? So when that scene happened, that exact scene where he catches the hammer, there's a pause, and there's like a pause, and then you hear the audience just erupts, right? Everybody just starts to go erupt. During that pause in my theater, you hear me in all the silence go, yes, and then and it just goes off. So yeah, that's an amazing scene.
Oh yeah, it's basically my wife, just as a quick thing. My wife was like, we need to rewatch, because she doesn't watch these many times. Like, we've all seen them a few times, so she doesn't really watch she's seen everything once. She's like, well, let's go back and rewatch these. And it was so funny too, because she's like, I want to rewatch all the MCU movies. Now she's not she reads manga. Okay. So Japanese comics, right? So she's not a big time, superhero fan that way. So we're looking at them and I was like, well, you didn't like Iron Man 1 or 2. You didn't care about Hulk. And so it was like, well, she loves Captain America First Avenger. And then she loves Winter Soldier. She loves Avengers. She loves She loves Age of Ultron. And she's like, I like Civil War. That was pretty good. I like, you just like, if
Chris
you
Evans.
just like, they're right. You just want the Chris Evans movies. And it's not because of Chris Evans. She didn't even think of it that way.
Okay.
I'm like, well, Captain America is the MCU. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
basically my top 10 are whatever Chris Evans is in, and then the 2 Doctor Strange movies. that's like my top 10, right? And just because I like Doctor Strange. So it's like, and same with her. So she's like, yeah, Ant-Man was okay. And but like she doesn't like any of the Iron Man movies. She doesn't like, it's like doesn't care about Thor. I'm like, it's really just Captain America. So I was like, so we watched the first Avenger and we watched Winter Soldier, and now we watched Avengers today, and tomorrow we're watching Age of Ultron. I know I did that out of order, but what are you gonna do? Like,
so she's a big Captain America MCU fan. If she wants to learn about the comics, if she has any interest in learning about the Captain America comics, she needs to listen to my podcast or just come to the Facebook group, because it's a trip down memory lane all the time about Captain America comics.
Yeah. And I'll talk about the Facebook group now and let you talk about the podcast and Facebook group. I first came upon the Facebook group just because I came upon it. And then I don't remember the dates of when we talked about doing the stream and all that, but I just like thinking, wow, this is a great group. And it's all positivity. There's no infighting. I left on a ton of groups, to be honest. And it's not even because they're differing opinions than me, because there's stuff that I don't like either. Obviously, look, like there's stuff I don't like, but usually when I don't like stuff, I'll just scroll by it and then that's the end of it. Right. Versus like I've seen and I left Facebook for a bit because of even a couple of real bad threats to me.
Wow.
And I left Facebook and I left all the groups, and actually I left your group for a while and then I joined it again because I was just leaving. I'm done with Facebook. I'm leaving all the groups and just leaving my thing. And I had my own group that I had for Superman. I'm like, I'm leaving all groups. And then I was like, okay. And then I'm like, enough time passed. I thought, let me go back. And I was like, oh yeah, I really like the Captain America group. I got to get back on that one. So I went back on that one. And then that's when I started to get pumped up for Cap. I was like, you know what? I should start doing reviews. And I started doing a few reviews for the Facebook group.
I love them. They're great.
Best.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, your Facebook group is literally the best comic book group. And I've been and left name a character. I've been in a group and left.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, I can't take it. So yeah, go ahead, talk about the podcast, because that's.
Before I do, I do want to just build on what you said about the group. I'm totally with you when it comes to social media in general, right? You give people a soapbox, they feel compelled to give their 2 cents, right? They can't just scroll by. They just feel they're pulled towards the keyboard, like I must give my opinion, right? And so there is a lot of negativity out there. And so with the theme of Captain America, we came up with this, what would Cap do? Yep. Right. And that's our theme to the group. That's our theme to the podcast. And what would Cap do? Cap wouldn't give a negative opinion about something. He would just let somebody enjoy what they're enjoying, even if they don't like it. And so that's a rule in our group. I mean, I enforce that rule. My moderators enforce the rule. It's not that we're against free speech. It's just, you know what? You have a million other places you can go to express that. But if there's an artist you don't like, a story you don't like, we don't let bad mouthing and bashing. It's just it drains. It's the negativity just drains. So our group is a very positive group. It literally is an oasis away from all that crap that's out there. You can just go and enjoy. So, thank you for recognizing that. And we have a great group of, we have over 5,000 people in the group. Not all of them are active, but they obey the rule and appreciate what we're trying to build there.
Yeah, and anytime like anyone posts, like, and I like Rob Liefeld, so I know about getting hate. And we're not going to talk about it, but I like the Rob Liefeld Captain Americas. I've got them when I don't.
Okay.
And again, I'm not saying it's better. I'll show mine, then you can show yours. But here's my. I got a 4.5 cap.
All right. Well, if we're gonna whip them out, Jay,
whip them out. Whip them out. Whip them out.
All right.
Boom. Okay, let me full screen yours. Hold on, because you got the better version one. Hold on, let me give you a solo.
There you go.
Oh,
I don't. Listen, Jay, mine's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say right there. Right?
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But no. Well, my point was that I'm not saying, like, to me this is Captain America, like Jack Kirby, right? So again, I can like several things can be true at the same time. I can like Rob Liefeld. Right. And okay, people didn't like, he changed the A and stuff. He made the bird. Okay, fine. That's fine. Is this like life threatening to, like, is this like my life needs to be threatened now? It's like, I'm not saying one thing's better than the other. I can like several versions of Captain America.
Right.
I didn't mind Sam Wilson becoming Captain America in the comics either. I thought it's story per story. There's Steve Rogers issues where, like, I didn't like the story. There's Sam Wilson issues where I thought this was a good story. This one wasn't a good story. There's John Walker. I'm not pissed off. Like, John Walker took over. I like the Grunwald stuff a lot. That's where I started.
Sure.
I started with Cap 300 as a kid. Come to find out, what, a few issues in, you're like, he's not even Captain America. This, what the shit is going on? But again, like, I don't need to. Yeah, I don't need to fight with people all the time. I already fight with people enough. On my live streams. So.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's an 80-year history of Captain America.
Right.
They're not all good. And we're not going to all love every single one of them. We're not all going to agree. The people who come to the group, range in when they started. And we all have that sentimentality of when, going down that road of nostalgia, right? Of when did we start on one character, right? Like, I started in I want to say 1983, right? So it was J.M. DeMatteis was the writer. We had Mike Zeck and John Beatty, pencil inker. Bob Sharon was the colorist. That is my favorite era, right?
Right.
And people who joined when Grunwald was doing it, that's their favorite. People who joined when Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were doing it, that's their favorite. You have that attachment to when you're young and as being your favorite. But we also have people who are like, Nick Spencer's my favorite, or Jackson Collin, Jackson and Colin, who are the current writers, are my favorite, because that's when they started, believe it or not. We have some people who come on who only know Cap from the MCU, and they join our group and they're like, wow, there's such a rich history here. Where do I start? And, people are so friendly. They're like, well, check out this story, or check out this story. Here's a good jumping on point. So it is, there is no right or wrong answer. And right. Like I said, what would Cap do? He would allow you to enjoy what is it you enjoy.
Yep. All right, we'll talk about the podcast a little bit. So how did that? I know we talked about this on the last video, but it's been a while, so I know you've done a lot more.
Yeah. We're just published this past week. I think what was episode 125. So it's a weekly podcast. We've been out for over a couple of years now. The group had grown to, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 people in the Facebook group, and I was like, how do I take this to the next level? And so I've started the podcast. Didn't know a thing about podcasts. Didn't know what it would take. Had to learn on the fly. Got an amazing partner in Bob Lucius. He is one of the moderators in our group. We became fast friends, and so he's the co-host, and two of us. Every Wednesday, just like New Comics, we have a new podcast that comes out, and there's an 80-year history of Captain America comics that we go through. So we will, generally speaking, pick a story. Now, that story could be 1 or 2 issues. It could be a little bit more, and we will cover it panel by panel. And I kind of act out, the scenes, and we go through it. And I do all the voices. He does the sound effects, and we kind of have fun with it. And then there are, and by the way, we have a lot of color commentary, and we go on a ton of tangents, and that's my fault. But then the first Wednesday of every month, we have a guest on.
Right.
And so this would be a creator, writer, artist, editor who has at some point worked on Captain America. And we've had some amazing guests on. Recently the one that just we had was Roy Thomas. Right now he's a legend.
Awesome.
Right, he's a legend. Starting his career back in 1965. We've had some great writers like Steve Englehart, Mark Wade, J.M. DeMatteis, Jackson and Colin, Tochi Onyebuchi, who's doing the Sam Wilson book right now. We've had some amazing pencilers, such as Mike Perkins, and I'm drawing a blank here, but man, so many. Well,
there's like 25 episodes, so there's a lot in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, some legends out there like a Ron Garney and and so on, and some famous inkers out there too. And then we've had editors, we've had novelists, people who have written books about Captain America. So it's been a lot of fun. I never thought I would have this kind of access to these creators, and especially some ones that, again, I grew up with loving. But it's a lot of fun. So, if people want to check it out, they could just go to the website, CaptainAmericaComicBookFans.com, or just look up Captain America Comic Book Fans in any podcast provider. It's on every platform.
Yeah, and I'm on iPhone, so it's all there. It's all free. The podcast is a free download, so you don't have to subscribe or do anything like that. And you could set up a feature to auto download when it comes out, so you can do that. That's probably the easiest thing for anyone to do. Then when you just go to your phone, it's there, and then it's there. But yeah, it is every Wednesday, so then that way, it's comic book day. Okay, well, so before I share my screen, I just want to just say this real quick, just in case there's people who will get mad at me. What I'm about to share, obviously I asked Rick to crack open his 100 so we could but he decided not to. I didn't crack mine open, and so how are we going to do this? Well, there are sites out there that you can view comic books. I'm not going to tell you where they are, but I do actually have a CD. Can't remember if it's a CD or a DVD. Maybe it's a DVD-ROM. Marvel officially produced these discs that contained different heroes comics. So I've got Iron Man, Captain America, and Hulk. They did do Amazing Spider-Man. So what these are is that they're actually like it actually looks like a DVD movie, and I actually thought that's kind of what it was. I thought, what is this? And it gives you every comic book in a scanned PDF form with the ads and everything, from whatever the first thing is to, I don't know what year the disc goes up to. Maybe it's like it's 2005. Okay, yeah. So up to 2005. So I have every Captain America comic
through volume 4
up to So it's insane. Awesome. Now that I was able, those they're literally just PDF files. You just drag them, drop them. Now this computer that I'm on doesn't have a CD-ROM or doesn't have a disk drive anymore, but I was able to just save them on a stick or whatever. Perfect. So that's how we're going to look at them.
I just want to say Steve Rogers approves. Yeah, this is licensed material.
Yes,
right. You're not pirating.
No.
What would Cap do? You just did it. So
yes, exactly. Good job. Yeah. And I do have Captain America 101. I'm trying to. I brought my Captain America boxes, though we're going to go through this, but we're not going to. I've got 101, 103. I'm missing like 102, 104. So I've got to pick up those early ones. Mostly my collection starts in the 300s, like 298, 299, 300. And that's what I was getting as a kid. So I was pretty frequent on those. But up till then, it's like, but I just want to say that I love these comics. To me, this is what Captain America is, and not only just for Captain America, but also just Marvel. Like, if you want to know why Marvel was so hot, these comics are kind of it. Now, I'm not going to be able to see you guys. I will be able to see the chat. So chat, if you say stuff, I will be able to see you. But I will not be able to see my screen with my co-hosts on it. So guys, anytime you want to speak up, just speak up. So this is Tales of Suspense 97. We'll start here. The reason I chose this is that my Epic Collection Captain America starts with this. I actually bought it on Comixology before I realized that I can't read Comixology on I can't share my screen with Comixology because they took that website away. So that's pretty irritating, actually. Which is fine. I read on my iPad, but I can't share it on the screen here. So that's why I pulled out these PDFs, because on the one hand, these PDFs are the original scans, which I guess people might even prefer, versus the kind of the remastered where they recolored everything. So I don't want to debate on that, but the Epic collection that I got started with this, so I figure why not just start with this. So Tales of Suspense, that was Iron Man and Cap, and then after 99, Captain America took over with 100, and then Iron Man got his big premiere issue, just like Submariner got his big premiere issue, and Hulk continued with 100, right? Yeah, that's right. Hulk, I think, continued. All right, so Tales of Suspense, 97. So Whiplash. We'll just skip the Iron Man stuff. We're not saying Iron Man sucks, but we're just saying Captain.
Totally, Team Cap.
But Captain America's. Listen, Civil War. It wasn't even a decision. It's like I'm obviously with Captain America. Plus, Tony Stark was irritating to me anyways. I'm like, yeah, whatever, Tony. Come on. All right. Okay, look at this. Look how awesome this is. Can you guys see my mouse?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right. I mean, this is just already awesome. Like, so you see Jack Kirby. So I've been reviewing these issues for the Facebook group, and like I have my system. Sean knows my rating system, and I'm just giving perfect scores to art, and I will continue to give a perfect score to art while Jack Kirby is doing the art. That's a non-negotiable point. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Despite who the inker is?
Yeah, well, there is that. But no,
oh yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, well, it matters, but I mean, look, it's still cool. All right, so here's Captain America. This is the. Have you guys read this one? Or I guess
yeah.
Not only did I read it, but we actually, me and Bob covered this on the podcast, panel by panel, these exact 4 issues. Nice. So 97, 98, 99, and 100. So if anybody wants to hear that version, that's in episode 90 that we did last year.
Perfect. So you know what? I'm just gonna play the audio of that, and then I can take a break for an hour.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect. You should uploaded that to me, and I could have just shared it right within here. And we could pretend that we're talking. We'll like move our mouths or whatever to like match it. Okay, so you guys did the breakdown. I mean, so obviously, I'm assuming you guys really like these because you went through all the details of everything. But this is all good stuff.
I thought what was interesting on this second page is so Cap is falling, right? And in the first panel, really explosive panel, very cool, right? On that page right there, yeah, the one you have. Then next panel, 2 things. One, somehow his shield appears out of nowhere. It wasn't in the panel before,
right?
And number 2, he is holding him. Now I love the perspective, right? Because you're looking down onto the sidewalk. Somehow he is holding himself in his entire body by his right ankle.
Yep.
By keeping this 90-degree angle on his right foot, on his right boot, he is able to hold his entire body. That I got to tell you, that is one strong ankle.
Yes. Yes. No Achilles heel for Cap here.
And nice Jamie and I always debate this, and I know he brought it up on the last time you were on here. Is Captain America superhuman, or is he just the most healthy any human can be with the serum?
I'm going to get this wrong, but I can tell you what I read. I remember reading is in the Marvel official handbook or something like that.
Right.
He is, quote unquote, the peak human condition.
Yes.
You know, the fastest a human can be, the strongest a human could be.
Yeah.
Does that make you superhuman? I don't know. Other writers along the 80-year history have made him to be stronger. There's Steve Englehart, when he was instructed by his editor to give Captain America superpowers, make him extra strong.
Right.
And there was a little story arc there for several issues where he all of a sudden was incredibly strong. And then no one explained how that just went away. So it depends on where you are in his comic career, his story career.
Yeah. or who's writing them.
Or who's,
Exactly.
yeah, it's a
Exactly.
bit weird because like super.
Yeah.
I mean, can anyone argue what the best potential of a human being is?
That's the thing. It's
Like
very,
how where you know like
I always saw it as Spider-Man's stronger than him, because he's supernaturally stronger.
So
yeah,
Spider-Man's
I would
totally
say
stronger. Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
he's stronger, yeah. But I would say Captain America is stronger than Daredevil, right? So I would say Daredevil
Yeah.
is more like how good you could be as a realistic like a Bruce Lee or something, or whoever your main.
Agreed.
You know,
You guys ever seen like, and it pops up in the comic groups every once in a while, but I want to say, I don't know, maybe around 1980. I could be totally wrong, but they did something in the comics where it was like 4 strips and it had weight classes, and like at the top you had Hulk and Thor and Colossus and all that, and then you had like the next level, right, which was She-Hulk and blah 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 blah, and then you had a next level, and then the very bottom was like, you know, the Street Fighter types, right, like the Daredevils and so on. You know, so
I remember
Spider-Man was up there. He was really up there.
Yeah. I had those. Oh, I have the Marvel cards,
The Marvel cards, yeah.
The first 3 series. I have complete sets of those, and I remember they would have things on the back, like they'd have like little power level thingies.
And I think I got the whole idea that he's just a peak human physical shape from those cards. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, what a comic geek question, though. I mean,
I know,
we love talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this could literally be an hour stream just that topic. I've changed if I do this view, I can still see you guys and see the comic, and I think it fits better because I can fit the whole page. So let me know, guys, in the chat if that's better. Strength chart. Okay, there you go, Brian. Thanks, Brian.
Strength chart, yeah.
Okay, so it's a little hard for me to see the comic this way, but I can see you guys and the chat at the same time, so I'll just stick with this. So it's a little bit tougher for me, but but this is a great little battle here, which basically these are all action. Like, to me, Captain America is an action character. You can have great stories and great characterizations, but it needs to lead to action. It's like Superman is an action character. You know, Batman can be the detective and figure stuff out, and so can Steve, but it all has to lead to some sort of action type of thing, right?
I think all comics end up being that way, at least the ones with superheroes. When we had J.M. DeMatteis on, he was talking about you can have the most psychological story in a comic book story, but at the end of the day, it's 2 guys trying to solve a problem with their fists.
Right.
And he said, so how do I get beyond that? And it was really difficult. He had this idea. Speaking of Captain America 300, and I'm sorry, see, I go on tangents. Speaking of Captain America 300, where you started, his original story was to have Steve Rogers die in that issue.
Oh my God.
And
to the death.
And basically, he was going to, wait, actually, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. Not die. He was going to have him resign as Captain America. And then, the Crow, the Black Crow, that he was introduced a few issues before.
Okay, yeah.
Right. The American Christmas was going to end up taking over as the new Captain America. And Steve Rogers was going to go on trying to live a life of peace and put down, fighting. But a lot of his colleagues, especially like Nomad, couldn't understand, like, why are you turning yellow? Why are you not fighting? And eventually, I think he dies and gets in a fight and dies. And so he had like a whole year worth of stories planned. And Jim Shooter got a hold of this and was like, no, it's just, I as the custodian of the characters, because he was, the editor-in-chief at the time, he's like, I can't allow that to happen to Steve. So he actually ended up rewriting some of 300, and J.M. DeMatteis was he didn't even want to have his name on the book, so he had a pseudonym on there as well. Anyway, it was a great. Like I said, we interviewed him on the show, and he talked about all of that. But yeah, it was,
that's crazy.
It's all about solving it with your fists.
The last time I read 300 was when I got 300, so I got to go back and go through these. It's like, and I've got it right here I put it at my feet here in case we needed to look at them. But like, yeah, wow, I need to reread those. I remember like that the cover was awesome to that one too. but yeah, all of those up to 400 and whatever it is, is it 430 or 424 or something like that, whatever it is, like 100 to 420 something.
Mm-hmm.
That before they relaunched,
it's 454.
454, 454. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then they started again, right?
Yeah.
But I remember I would like to get all those if possible. I would like to get that entire. I don't think it's an astronomical task. Like
his stuff's not that expensive as far as back issues are concerned. There's very few key issues, that are really expensive. Like obviously, like 117, the first Falcon, first Sam Wilson. But there's not a lot that are just John Walker's kind of blown up a little bit because of MCU, but yeah, they're affordable.
And I've got a lot of the John Walker stuff too. He was pretty badass. All right, so now we got Black Panther who comes in, and like it's super cool to have Captain America and Black Panther team up. That's always like a pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's like they just feel good when those guys team up or whatever. And here's like a Jack Kirby. Like, I mean, you just if you just see this, you're like, yeah, that's like a weird Jack Kirby thug.
I always love the look of the troopers in these things. It's very Jack Kirby. Like they look Sentinel-ish,
Yeah. Can I say that this is the I don't want to say this is the real Black Panther, but like this is Black Panther. Like when I think of it in my head, I don't the movie made him look a little neater with all the little
they always have to put detail on it.
They detailed the crap out of them. Oh, Bill, what's going on, dude? Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, I love those Black Panther. Those there.
So something interesting when I was doing some research when we were doing this story. This is only like the 7th appearance of Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like he had like those first 5 issues of Fantastic Four, and then he was in another issue of Fantastic Four, then an issue of Annual. This is the first time he's, I believe, outside of Fantastic Four.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. So, and did they say so? I think they had said somewhere. Did I miss that? Oh yeah, they're reintroducing Black Panther. Yeah.
Well, does he? So he's not in Jungle Tales in his own feature yet.
Not at this point.
I don't know when that starts.
Yeah.
The beauty of digital is that I was able to buy all of those things on Comixology, and you can read them all in the iPad. That's the beauty. That is I'll get people sometimes are like, oh, digital, yeah, but there's no way I could have been reading this.
Right.
There's no way anyone could just pick this up, right? Like, I'm sorry, like I'm not promoting anything, but Rick, and you said if people come on your Facebook group, where do I start? Are they going to go spend hundreds of dollars to buy Captain America? That's just like not going to happen.
Yeah. And hardcovers and omnibuses and stuff are pretty expensive. You need to be really dedicated. So
you do. Yeah.
And then there's the Epic collections.
Yeah.
Those are
pretty good.
They're affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are pretty good. And those are on digital. That's actually what I bought on digital. I bought the first 3 or 4 Epic collections of Captain America. And then I actually, prior to that, I always forget the name. I call them phone books. What are they called, Sean? Essential?
I always call them phone books. Essentials is the Marvel one, right? And Showcase is the DC one. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And black and white.
Black and white. Yeah. So for Captain America, I bought the first 3 or 4 volumes of that. And I was trying to read through it that way. And I actually read all the Namor Submariner stuff through the Essentials. I was like, well, that's the only way I could get it, right? So but I've gone back and grabbed some of those too. Okay, so anyways, so Black Panther, so here where Steve's getting he's getting patched up or whatever. I always liked Captain America because I always felt that like it feels like he's always Captain America versus like I know there's the dual identity. He has a secret. It's not really an identity. It's just that he is Captain America. It's not like Superman's my favorite hero and character, but I do like that. It's like he's Captain America. I remember as a kid thinking, well, this is just the best because I don't have to worry about who knows the identity and what all this is. It's like he's pretty much just Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's really cool. I kind of like that. So this is already the end this is already almost the end, right? Oh no. Okay. So now we have Sharon Carter here getting dressed up to look like this villain woman. I can't remember what was her name. Cruel.
It's like Emma Cruel or something. She's the deadliest female spy ever to reach these shores.
Yeah.
Irma Cruel.
Irma Cruel. Yes, there you go. My
But-
eyes are garbage. So if you see me doing this, that's me trying to read
Yeah,
something.
no,
Don't
no.
get scared. My forehead will take up the whole.
But you can't even tell that's Sharon Carter. Look, she's got a hat and glasses.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, what's going on, brother? Thanks for popping in,
Clark,
man.
yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, picking up the gun, and I love that she's like, tied up in here, and she's like, "Oh, Colonel Fury will come get you after."
But
And then-
just go back for 1 second. So to the
Yep.
on the left page here, you've got Stan doing something that just, oh my God, just it really kind of got old fast. Cap pining. Cap is
Yeah.
always pining, whether he's pining for Sharon Carter or he's pining for Bucky.
Right.
He's always pining and lamenting and so on. And here, and this is so ridiculous, right? Steve Rogers is pining for she.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know her name. He
Right.
doesn't even know Sharon Carter's name, right? Like he's pining for this woman who reminds her of Peggy Carter, who was a relation of Sharon Carter, and so that's ridiculous. But then you have Sharon Carter who's pining for Steve, even though she's never really seen him with his mask off and doesn't know his name.
Right.
It's just,
Did you ever think? I didn't want to say this. Oh, hey, Classic Comics. Oh, hey, Classic. What's going on, man? How's it going? Did you ever think? Question to I guess both of you. Did you ever think that like Stan kind of? I said this to Sean. Did I say this on stream, Sean, or did I said this to you
privately? I think. Yeah.
Listen. I'm not anti anybody. Let's just, because I'm already gonna get shit on for this. But do you feel that Stan was just a bit too wordy and trying to justify that he's the writer? I'm gonna go away. I don't know if
if Kirby's plotting it out and you see the panels, then he insists on putting as many word balloons as possible.
Yeah, like look at this. Like, okay, so I don't like, you can't see my mouse, so I have to move the screen. So like, look, I get what's happening here.
Right? I see your mouse.
Okay, so you see it now. Yeah, right. So yeah, she's
we
like,
pointed this out with the first Kang as Kang, like after Ramata in Avengers,
right?
Because there's like everyone has to say something and they don't.
Like what is all? I get it. Like she's disguising.
Yeah.
Like, and then I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I don't want to. I'm not doing Stan versus Jack or whatever. That's like not happening. But anyway, I don't know. I just feel like it's like it just gets a little. It's not wordy, but it's like, yeah, I get what's happening. Like you could trim some of this down, right? But yeah, Cap's all upset here. And then later on, he's upset over Bucky and one of the issues, which is, I guess, that's legit. So now we're going back. So we got back to T'Challa here now. So I guess these guys. Oh, we didn't really. I mean, are we talking about it really? Like these guys were on the. These guys are what, attacking the island or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Wakanda.
The Wakanda. Sorry, the Wakanda. And so he needs Cap's help here. And I like how, this is the end of the issue. I thought so. Yeah. I like this idea that, look, he's all beat up and then he has to like, he's like, well, shit, I gotta do this. Like, what do you want me to do? I gotta get in.
Yeah. They've never talked to each other before. This is their first time interacting with one another.
Wow.
And so, at first Steve thinks, well, is this a trap? And then he hears from T'Challa, and in T'Challa's being very mysterious. He's not telling him who is the person behind all this, just that it's somehow related to you and you need to come here and you'll be able to cross the Atlantic in 53 minutes.
Right.
Because, that's a thing.
Yeah. And who's behind it? We're going to find out in the next one. I just want to say, hey, Clobby, how's it going, man? I'll see you for Star Trek and Earth B in a couple of weeks. So we'll be doing some more Earth B on Clobberin Times channel. Brave and the Bold, Bob Haney, goodness. So, okay, I've got to load up the other one because this isn't a continuous file. So give me a second here. It's going to be black for a second. 98. And yeah, and Clobby, we know where you stand on Stan versus Jack, so we're not going to, we're definitely not going to do it with Clobberin Times, that's for sure. Where's my, okay, so this should be the next one here. Can you guys see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did I do this last time? Does this fit? Yeah, that looks good. Or maybe I can zoom it in a bit more.
It wouldn't be a classic comic without an Atlas commercial.
Or those, the whole thing of Army Men for $1.25. That's pretty
$1.25 is too expensive. I remember it being $1 So
Mm.
You know what I got? You know the pack of Army Men? I got a pack of Ninja.
yeah,
It was assorted Ninja, different colors, red, black, white, and blue Ninja. That was awesome. I'm like, I can't believe I got like a pack of Ninja. This is like so cool. All right, so now we've got.
Did you hear them coming?
No. I love ninjas. I used to buy Ninja magazine. Remember that? Yeah, I don't know if you remember Ninja magazine.
I do not.
Well,
I never got one, but
that's see, I could beat any of you if we ever have a ninja competition. I can defeat you guys because I know
I'm gonna
all the
go on
ninja
eBay and see if I'm sure they're like way over expensive now.
They might be, but they were all. You could buy like the boots. You could. It's like you could buy commas.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think that Sean and I are Canadians. I'm like, I don't think this is going to ship to Canada. They're definitely going to stop. Yeah, I got what they stopped. What did they stop the other day? Oh no, they stopped. I had to pay duty on my Art the Clown Terrifier thing. I'm a horror movie guy. We're not gonna, we won't talk about it, but anyways, they nailed me on that. I was like, I guess that's a thing. We'll say. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Ninja, please.
Oh my god. All right, so now we've got what we always like to see in superhero comics. The two heroes fight each other, but then they become friends. Spoilers, they're gonna become friends. Cap versus Black Panther.
No, it does not say that. It says versus the Panther.
The Panther.
Right. You're right.
So I think I read somewhere that they wanted to take away Black from Black Panther because of the militant group going on at that time, and they wanted to not associate themselves with the militant group. So I look at this cover, and I'm pretty sure just by looking at it that it probably at one point said Cap versus Black Panther, but they whited that out and put the ... the.
Yeah,
now I don't know that for sure, but it's a pretty good guess because they wanted to take the black out.
Right. And I think Black Panther. Yeah. I think the character Black Panther, does he predate the actual like Black Panthers
by like a month or something? It's at the same time.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
One didn't know about the other. So yeah.
The Cole Panther.
Yeah, I think there was at one point they were going to call him the Cole Panther. Yeah.
Yeah, that's he saying Jack wanted that. All right. So Cap's got this thingy Bob or whatever which is gonna get him.
Sorry,
can I look up at the go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, no, I go back to the first page of this.
Mm-hmm.
One of these, okay, this is Jack Kirby. Is the next issue not Gene Colan or something like that?
No, Gene Colan is usually doing Iron Man and Tales of Suspense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no.
So we'll see him. I can scroll down. Yeah. So we can see him. Masters, how's it going, brother? Thanks for coming in. Very different way. Thank you, Joe. Oh, there you go.
Take a look at the title, The Claws of the Panther.
Yes.
I just want to, put this out there to R.D. Simic, the letterer. There's 3 different fonts going on here, right? You got the claws, which are sharp, right, to signify claws, and then you got Panther, which is furry,
right?
I mean, like, you don't see that in today's comics. You haven't seen it in decades, really,
right?
But it's just one of the things I like to appreciate when I look at old comics.
That is cool, and yes, yeah, that's like just fun details to have in there.
Well, it's supposed to be eye catching, which some comics today are not. So.
Yeah, we're not going to do today's.
We're not going to do that. I know.
how I despise most of them. We're not going to get into that right now. No, I'm just. I gave Superman 1 a decent review.
You're not old enough to have that attitude, Jay.
I don't have the full attitude. I'm Clobberin times plug your ears. I like John Byrne's Superman, but to save myself, obviously I like pre-crisis Superman a lot, and he is the real Superman. There you go. Yeah. But I still like John Byrne. Again, multiple things can be true at the same time. I love these old comics because I got into the new comics, went back, read the old. I'm like, wow, these are so cool. And we won't talk about Eternals because that just is going to anger me. But so I don't like everything, that's for sure. I like the old Eternals, but not the movie or anything after that. So anywho, let's continue on. So here we go. Like this is what we're like paying our what did we pay for this? 12 cents. I didn't pay 12 cents when I buying this, but we have Black Panther here fighting. This is all cool. And is this the typical like just okay? So there's some thought. I don't mind the thought bubbles as much as like with the Kang thing where it was like everyone has to announce something to Kang.
And
Like
Wasp
thought
has to
bubbles.
say like, oh, he might be handsome underneath that mask. It's like,
Oh, that was
what's going
Stan. Come on,
on?
help me out, Stan. Dude, come
Yeah.
on. All right. So there's actually not a huge battle because remember this is still half the book, right? So half of it is still going to be Iron Man.
Right.
Did they? I guess they swapped every month, right? So Cap on the cover, Iron Man on the cover, Cap on the cover.
Yeah, they started doing that towards it. Sometimes they had to split covers, but then towards the end they started alternating.
Okay. Because what I actually have who I think did I guess Iron Man appeared in Tales of Suspense first, right? Before Captain America appeared.
Yes.
So my Iron Man DVD has even earlier Tales of Suspense, and then the Captain America, and then it's overlapped. So the two DVDs are actually overlapped until you get to them splitting off or whatever.
Yeah, Cap didn't join until 58, and that was as a guest in Iron Man's story, and then in 59 is when they started splitting it. Right.
Who was it before? Was it just random stories?
Well,
I think it started off as
I want to
random.
say Iron Man was started in 39, but I could be wrong. That's just from memory. So there was almost 20 issues of Iron Man before Cap joined the book, and then prior to Iron Man, it was a lot of
random
sci-fi stuff. Yeah, things fantasy, maybe a little fantasy, but mostly sci-fi.
I'm more Tales to Astonish because I like Namor and Hulk and those guys. So I know it was Giant Man. Well, it was like random stories. Groot was in there too. It's like the when Groot was like this evil entity or whatever. So I remember those. And then it was Giant Man or Ant Man, whichever it was. And then Namor came in, and then Namor and Hulk from that pairing and on, I've got all of that, and that's sort of what I liked. Tales of Suspense, I do have the first Hawkeye, which is
that's cool, yeah.
Like in my little Hawkeye thing there.
Nice.
I don't know what number it is now, but
yeah, the first Black Widow was like shortly thereafter.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That like man, so much stuff in there. Okay, so here he was just I don't get what was going on here. He's like, I just had to be certain you weren't an imposter.
Yeah, so it was a test. So that's why they threw in the little battle between the two of them.
Yeah,
they had to somehow justify the cover.
Right. Which is how look, this it is what it is, and that's what's gonna happen. So now
each other, yeah, like heroes in Marvel, they're always fighting each other, like to give an excuse for it, and then they move on to fighting a villain.
Right. Well, that I got a lot of questions during Civil War, and even Batman versus Superman from my coworkers who are all just normies, and they're like, "Why are they fighting? What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh," I was like, I can't get into it. Just watch the movie then, and just whatever. Especially can't.
It's called drama.
It's called drama, right? Yeah, because like, aren't they friends? I'm like, yeah, they're friends, but whatever, man. Just like.
Yeah. I consider DC different. Like Marvel, everyone's fighting everyone all the time. DC is a little like that. Never really happened as much.
Right.
So, but anyways.
Right. Yeah. Oh no, we're definitely not starting that discussion. Not with that. All right. So now there's the two of them here, and this is the every guy needs to have his panel. So it's like, listen, if Cap is beating up guys, Panther's got to beat up his guys.
Mm-hmm.
I love the coloring of all. I love the yellow backgrounds for the top two and the other page there, and that red background for Schwab or whatever.
Yeah, this is all cool.
Shoop. I love all that stuff. Blue next to the red. It's great stuff.
And this is an actual scan. This isn't been manipulated. That's one of the other bonuses of having these PDFs. The ads are one, but also it's not. But I'm not against the Epic collections or those comicsologies. I'm not like pissed off that it's recolored or whatever.
Yeah.
all right, so oh my God, who is it? And it's like, look at it. Look, he's just like, oh damn, this is a good.
Yep. Zemo.
Oh my gosh. Da-da-da-da. All right. And then here's the this is Gene Colan. Right
Okay,
here.
okay. Yeah.
This must have been awesome. Like if you're a kid at this time getting this, you're like, this is just the greatest. Like imagine you went to the shop and you got both Tales issues, like, or you went to your newsstand or your. Well, I used to buy it at convenience store. Sean, I got stuff at convenience stores.
Yeah, like Cap for that generation is fairly new because
because
those kids didn't read the 40s stuff. So
well, some did. Some did. Not the kids.
Yeah.
Not the kids, but yeah. Like we had Roy Thomas on, like I was saying before on the last episode, and he was a fan. He was a kid reading Cap comics in the 40s and 50s. So when Avengers 4 came around, he was one of the many who were like, well, how is Steve Rogers? What do you mean he was frozen in 1945? I was reading comics in 1950, 1955, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So, but there's the holdovers, the people who remember Cap. And then there's like this new generation, the new kids.
Yeah.
Because there's, back then they believed there was a cycle of 5 years where, a kid, you might've had somebody, from age 7 or 8 until like they hit puberty and then they're off. They don't read comics anymore.
Right,
and in many cases that was true, but they started to realize, wow, we're getting some teenagers and some young adults that are sticking around. But I digress.
All right. Bill, yeah, yeah, that's cool. All. I don't. I've read, despite having that CD, I actually have every Iron Man comic there ever was in some kind of form, and I've read like, I don't know, 20 of them. I don't know. I try to. In the latest series of Iron Man, I'm all caught up. There's 3 issues. I'm trying. I like Iron Man. I think he looks cool. I just can't. I've got a statue of Iron Man. I had shirts. I got toys.
I collected Iron Man like crazy in the late 80s and didn't like any of those issues, but like grabbed the next ones because the thing is, there's so much potential with that character. And it's like SNL to me. It's like you watch, it's like maybe this is going to be the good one. But like, I went through all of Armor Wars 2 and everything and all sorts of stories. And it just never grabbed me. But I was looking in my basement and there's like a stack of like Iron Man comics. And I'm like, I never liked any of these. I just like held on to it because I liked the character and the potential of it.
Right.
But it was boring to me. I don't know.
Well, I have Captain America 100 to now, right? I have all of them, and I have the Tales of Suspense 58 through 99. Have I read them all? No. But here's the reason why. Like I started in 1983. I started collecting Captain America with issue 287. It's the Deathlock issue, right? 286, 287. And I've been collecting monthly ever since 1983. So I would start to fill in the back issues as that's what we do, right? We would get back issues. Now we didn't get back issues in like, long runs. We would get, if you were lucky, we got a handful, but then we get one here, one there. Right. And I was one of those guys who's like, I don't want to read part of a story. I'm going to wait till I get all of them and then I'll read them. Well, if you think about it, so I did that for 183 issues plus the Tales of Suspense. So I've really only started reading that section from the 60s and 70s when I started doing the podcast and we started covering them. So I would start breaking these out, start reading for the first time. My goal is to someday, probably when I retire, I'm going to just break out Tales of Suspense 58 and just start reading. And I'm just going to read in consecutive order.
I know. Yeah, we've got a buddy. His name is Steven. He's on these sometimes, but mostly me and him do the wrestling stuff. And he has, we had a website where we were reviewing comics, and his favorite is Spider-Man and Hulk. Those are his 2 favorites. So I've got the Hulk CD, right? So I was like, okay, buddy, go for it. He's up to issue 400 something now.
Wow.
And same with Amazing Spider-Man. He went Amazing Spider-Man 1. So Comixology, for whatever I couldn't give him, there's Comixology,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, okay, and he hardcore, but he's only reading those two comics. I'm reading 4 billion things.
Yeah.
Right? You know how I'm saying? Like, it's like I said, as Sean, the best character in the history of comic books is the Flash. The reason he's always had one book. It's like it's like you just buy Flash.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a Batman person, you're going to
Oh.
commit suicide.
Right.
There's like 15 Batman books a month. It's impossible. I'm a Superman person. I'm like, okay, I'm a Superman person. Then it's like, there's like what, 5 Superman books or something. I'm like, okay, I can't. And then I'm like, all right, let me just do this. And then recently I'm like, okay, I'm reading Jonathan Kent. I'm reading Supergirl. I'm like, okay, if you're not named Kal-El, I'm not reading. I know, I'm serious. I was like, I'm not reading it. I'm done. I can't, because I'm reading all the Spawn titles. I like Spawn, right? I'm reading this new Iron Man thing. I just Sentinel Liberty. Actually, when you guys had the I guess that you had the writers on your podcast, I was like, I read 0 of those. I was like, okay, I really got to get these. So I got those on digital.
Which writers?
Sentinel of Liberty. Didn't you guys have that?
Oh, the recent one.
The recent one.
Yeah. Jackson and Colin. Yeah.
Yes, I'll never remember the names. The only names I know is Jack Kirby. But yeah, so I was listening to your podcast on that. I thought, shit, I haven't gotten these, and they're like on issue like what, 12 or something, or I don't know what they're on.
Not even, yeah.
Oh yeah, so I was like, okay, I can still, like, that's not unreasonable. I can kind of like catch up. So I got those on digital, and then I read like one issue. I'm like, okay, and then more stuff. So it's impossible, right?
Yeah.
But Flash, you just need to read one comic a month, and he's never had anything else. Maybe there's a crossover once in a while, but
I never thought of it like that. But yeah, I feel your pain, because I used to own a comic book store, and so I would read a lot of different stuff just so I could have some knowledge. So when people came into my store and asked questions, I had enough knowledge where I could refer them to certain, books and stuff like that. So when I sold the store and, started just having my personal collection, it whittled down. And yeah.
Right. Bill, so there is a link to the website for Captain America comic book fans.com. It's pinned, and from there you can get to all of the stuff. The podcast is Captain America comic book fans, and you can search for it. It's on all the platforms. I use whatever iTunes, I guess, or whatever, or what, I don't even know what. Yeah, whatever's on the iPhone. I don't know about technology. Apple,
iTunes, yeah.
I'm an Android man, so
Android. Oh,
a little Spotify.
Cool.
So it's Spotify. Yeah, there you go. That's one I know. I was gonna say, Sean, I you know how many episodes of SNL I've ever seen in my entire life?
Wow.
Zero.
I watch it. Whatever.
All right, let's go through. So okay.
Oh, there's a comic we need to talk about.
There is a comic.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. The Man Who Lived Twice. Now let's see. What's the font on this one? Looks like it's the same font for all the words.
Yes.
Oh, buddy,
now,
come on.
Does anybody recognize what this title is referring to?
Unless they're talking about like James Bond or something. I don't.
Bing, bing, bing.
Oh, okay.
All right. This came out in 1967, right? What James Bond movie came out in 1967?
Oh, is it You Only Live Twice?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I know I was that old, yeah.
Oh yeah. I've seen and own and read. Well, no, I didn't read. I read 10 of the first 10 Ian Fleming's, and I have all, and Sean has all, and Sean's read everything, right? You've read everything.
I think I've read everything now.
Yeah.
There's all the other books as well. That
Oh yeah, I didn't go into those.
Imitate the style, but
Yeah, no, I didn't go into those.
No.
But we have all the movies, and we've seen all the movies. Yeah, actually, if you're a James Bond fan, the Folio Society has done these Oh yeah, you know Folio Society because they did Captain America. They did that.
Mhm.
Did you see? They've got my first Steven, who we mentioned earlier, bought me Moonraker, and I can't believe I forgot. Steve, I'm so sorry. And these are like $70-$80 books, and I forgot the 2 that you got me. That's a fail. And they're in the other room, which I can't peek over while we're looking and see because they're in the other room. But those are amazing. So you saw the Captain America edition that they did
beautiful,
was awesome.
beautiful editions, yeah.
So they did for James Bond, and like the art. Oh, Thunderball, duh. My favorite James Bond movie. My favorite James Bond movie
1965.
65. Yeah, Thunderball's awesome, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Those are my two favorite movies. And my favorite book is Russia, actually. But okay, so
All right, so
Man Who Lives
different
Twice.
creator here on. We have Sid Shores
Oh,
now doing the inking, so you can see the style difference, can't you?
Right. Yes, you
Yeah.
definitely
So
can.
no longer Joe Sinnott. It's now
Yeah.
Sid Shores. So definitely changes the art style.
It does, yeah. All right, so here's okay. So now, does anyone have the? I don't really have a lot of the backstory on this. So this is the fake spoilers. Decades late spoiler. This is not the real Zemo, right? This is like an imposter Zemo.
right.
We don't know that yet.
We don't know
Yeah.
that now. Yeah.
We don't know that now. I've spoiled it. Because
You
the
spoiled
reason I spoiled
100.
it. Does
Yeah.
anyone know like Rick or Sean? Do you guys know what happened with Zemo? Like where?
He died in Avengers 15.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Zemo from World War II, the one who was responsible for Bucky's death, he shows up in the Avengers. I don't know if he's part of the Masters of Evil or something, but I don't remember.
Right.
But he dies in Avengers 15 under an avalanche.
Okay. All right.
So that's why Captain America is so surprised to see him, because right around this time, Avengers 50, maybe 49 is out. So you can see it's been a few years since Avengers 15. In Marvel time, it's been a few months. And so he's surprised and shocked to see Zemo still alive.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. And now the giveaway is, like they mentioned, is that the mask is more form fitting.
You mean the giveaway they give a giveaway in issue 100?
Yes.
Okay. Are we not going to cover issue 100? I'm just curious.
We're definitely going to get to 100. We're definitely we're almost there. No, but I'm saying like you should, it was this here, like, because like should this not be a clue to the readers or no? Are they saying that that's not, because like did Zemo, like was it more like like tight on the other Zemo? I don't remember what the
yeah, it's sort of like how Parasite used to be drawn.
Right.
It was sort of like you could see the nose, you could see like a sort of shadow around the eyes. And
right,
stuff.
right.
And,
this is more like this is like Cobra Commander style, like the hooded Cobra Commander. All right, so we've got like oh yeah, and there was Sharon Carter, who's Irma Cruel. So here we go. We've got like him sitting on his big throne. Here's like a jukebox or something. It looks like you could press buttons here and like play music.
Well, he's important because right next to him is a bowl of fruit and a chalice.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Right? That makes you a king, right?
The symbols, yeah.
That symbols, yep. And then this is like big punch, and then like both guys are now injured, and boom, he nails him too. So look, this Zemo's like not messing around, man. I don't know, like maybe he's the real Zemo. If someone didn't if someone didn't spoil it a minute ago, we would have been fooled. Reading this reread it on reading this basically for the first time the other day when I came up with this idea. I'm like, okay, I guess that's Zemo. I didn't really think too much about it. I guess he died, because I don't really remember all of the details of like what happened earlier, and I don't think I didn't read very many Avengers comics at all. I didn't get into Avengers till what was after was it Heroes Return? What was the thing after Heroes Return, right?
Yeah. After the Extreme Studios kind of came in.
Yeah. So I think that's where I started.
With
Avengers.
Oh, with Avengers! Wow,
that's the first time I read it. I'm not a big team guy.
Avengers was awesome. I know a lot of people don't like the late '80s stuff, but like it's my Avengers, because when you're a kid, anything's your thing, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, like like Circe and Gilgamesh and all that. It's not the greatest roster, but
yeah, you love that roster. You bring that you wait for an opportunity to mention this roster.
You love it. Gotta love that Dr. Druid.
Yeah. White Vision and
Oh, I love White Vision. I like West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, that was cool.
Everyone, Clobby, close your eyes. I got my White Vision right here, and I got my Wanda and my Vision.
I know, but they're Funko Pops, so it's not real.
I got the real figures in the glass
Yeah.
case, dude. Oh, okay, come on, give me what do I got
hate
here?
Funko Pops.
All right, that's it. I'm giving you one of these. I'm giving you the eye here, like, dude.
I never understood it, but that's just me.
Okay, that's it. I give you. I'm giving you an earthquake for that one.
Whew.
Yowza. Remind me to stay on Jay's good side.
Yeah, I'm giving you the 400-pound guy sitting on you.
Sitting on his neck. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Oh. All right. So now this is like you can see the eyes.
Right.
It's not the way that sometimes they do it with, like, Batman or whatever, where it's like it's got the or Phantom. Like I think the
It's
Phantom
just like
was the
white
first.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can actually see it. Although it looks a bit yellow here. I don't know if that's just
It's coloring. They don't
just the coloring or whatever. Yeah. All right. So then we get back to our big brawling here. And now this is the cliffhanger where they're down and Zemo wants this is so guys, this is Sharon Carter, and he's like, okay,
Disguised
disguised
as Irma Cruel.
Right. And she has to prove that she's the best spy or whatever by shooting them. Like, I mean,
Her loyalty. She has to prove her loyalty
right?
to him. Yes.
Right. So there you go. So that's the cliffhanger there. And I've already spoiled that it's not Zemo.
Hey,
so
t-shirt. Anyway, I was looking at the t-shirt ad.
Oh, do you want to see? Oh, it's
the Marvel t-shirts. Forget it. Just go to 100. Agent 13.
Now, before I load up 100, does anyone know why did Captain America not get a number one? And like, how did they choose? Was this just random, or like?
I have no idea. I imagine Iron Man had a bigger following because he had 20 some more issues in the series, so he was perhaps a bigger star and was going to do well with a 100. I mean, with a number one relaunch. Right. I really have no idea.
Yeah, because like it makes it a bit messy, right? Like with Hulk is a disaster, to be honest. It's like there's those first 6 issues, and then there's no. It's like
they discontinued it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like no Hulk number 13 or something. Like, it's just weird, right? Because it goes from the first 6, and then he's in Tales, right, and then he's in 100.
Yeah, and just so you know, just for timing purposes,
yep,
when this Captain America 100 came out, Incredible Hulk 102 came out. So it's around the same time period.
Wow.
Okay. Like, so yeah,
X-Men was like reprints at one point too, because it was so unpopular. Which is funny to think of now. It's like, God, when I was a kid, it was like enormous.
That's just crazy to think that.
Yeah.
All right, so it only took us an hour to get to Captain America 100, which is what I promised in the stream. But listen, I gotta, and coincidentally, we have the most viewers right now.
Yeah. God. I blame me. I'm sorry. I'm a tangent guy.
No, blame me. Everyone should blame me because I cannot be offended and I don't get upset. Unless you say Superman Christopher Reeve sucks. That's the only time I get upset. I actually, like, just as a random thing, like somebody, one of the He Who Shall Not Be Named was talking about it, and literally I came on the stream in the chat at that exact moment, and he's like, I knew it. I knew J-Man was lurking around somewhere. It's like, as soon as Christopher Reeve's name got mentioned, it's like, there I am. All right. Let's see what's Bill saying, because Captain America Comics went to 54. Cap's Legacy was character at the time. Iron Man wasn't. Oh, so is that what you're? Yeah, I guess so, because Captain America predates Marvel Comics, really, right? Like,
oh, you're talking about Captain America Comics, right? I think it went to issue, was it 58? I think it went to. But yeah, that was the Commie Smasher. There was like 3 issues there that was done. Yeah, I mean, I think I was among most people and just totally confused about the whole Captain America 100. Like, why is this Captain America 100? Not really understanding the whole Tale of Suspense thing. And then I knew that Captain America Comics had run before, but and there's a whole convoluted history to the golden age of Captain America Comics. We actually talk about it on the podcast, but there's the part where it was Captain America Comics, and then it stopped in the mid 40s. It was picked up again, by another publisher for a few issues. Then it went away. Then it became Captain America's Weird Tales, where he fights the Red Skull in hell. Then that goes away, and then they brought back Captain America Commie Smasher for 3 issues in the late 1950s. So yeah, it's there's a whole bunch of, and actually, yeah, it was in 19. I think what he's saying is 1954, not issue 54, because in 1954 it was Captain America 76, 77, and 78.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So what is that? That was
the Captain America Commie Smasher in 1954.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So that one is the one that has been retconned to be William.
Right.
Not William Naslin.
There's different guys. Yeah.
William. I'm drawing a blank here. There was 3 people who apparently replaced Steve Rogers afterwards, and Steve Englehart wrote it in Captain America, and that was the 1950s. And then What If #4, Roy Thomas wrote the other 2 Captain Americas. Anyway, we get into it on the podcast. I don't want to.
Roy talked about that. I was a bit confused at that because I didn't even know that was a thing. Like they're saying that there's other Captain Americas or whatever. So that was weird.
To explain that, the fact that Baron Zemo, which is the villain in this story, right? Baron Zemo was the one in 1945 on the drone plane sent, was Captain America and Bucky went onto the drone plane to stop this drone plane, and Cap fell into the ice, and then Bucky apparently blew up on the plane. That happened in 1945. At least that's how it was explained in Avengers #4 when Stan Lee and Jack Kirby brought Steve back. Well, a lot of people were like, well, wait a minute, then who was the Captain America I was reading after 1945? And so there's several retcons about that. And it was William Burnside who was the Commie Smasher. That's the William I was thinking of.
Okay. So they're saying that was a different one. Keep a comic series going to start over a new series. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's fine. Like they just wanted to make it seem like it was going on longer or whatever. So this is 100 finally. Big premiere issue. So it still says, I forgot it said big premiere issue, even though I have it right in front of me. You
Can we talk about the cover?
Let's talk about the cover. Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this cover?
I mean, I think it's cool. Like it's like everyone's running. It looks like the Marvel RPG TSR thing, which I like. Where it's
he looks
like
he's leading everyone behind him, but he's kind of not in the comic.
But this is a false advertising.
Like he's leading everyone to charge someone, and he's like, that's not.
He's coming to us. He's like, I'm here, readers.
And I can't remember. Like, I guess Thor and Giant Man, all those guys are in it a bit when they recap stuff in the beginning. Yeah. But they're barely in this comic, so
right.
Yeah.
So I have a problem with this cover.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby's great. He's the king. I love him. Don't get me wrong. But I look at this cover and I study this cover, and it's like it's almost like he drew Captain America. And if you look at it, Captain America's not jumping. He's anything. No. He's kind of running a little forward, right? And he just drew Captain America. Then it was like, oh, but we have all these other people in the story. Let's put them in for recognition so that Avengers fans get them, or Fantastic Four fans get it because of Black Panther and Namor. Oh, okay. So then he throws in these other characters underneath, and then wait a minute, they're all just there, so let's put a ground underneath them, and he just draws this random ground underneath. And if you look, Cap's just like floating. He's not jumping. There's no reason for him to be in the air based on the way both his legs are set up. I hate to be negative towards a classic cover, but it always struck me as odd that he's just floating in the center.
Isn't it the same for Black Panther, Sharon Carter?
Yes.
They're all sort of flying in the air.
Yeah. Black Panther's just kind of floating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really think they the Avengers and Namor were afterthoughts, and then the floor was an afterthought.
Right.
It feels like maybe like Iron Man should have been like either more this way or further back, and like maybe Giant Man wasn't, because it's like he's gonna trip him here or something.
Oh yeah, it's the pointy mask. Iron Man. No.
It is the
Yeah.
pointy mask. I don't think he didn't have that. He didn't have that mask in the last thing we looked at.
In
did he?
the other
In Avengers 4.
Oh yeah.
So
Avengers 4,
that it's the flashback to Avengers 4 when they found him, and I believe he had that mask, didn't he?
Oh, did he have that mask? Yeah.
I think so.
I know, again, zero. I don't know anything about Iron Man. I like Silver Centurion Iron Man because that's what I first saw on West Coast, and I like West Coast Avengers. That's a team. I like Defenders and West Coast. Those are the
and this
teams
PDF is 2007. We said 2005. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So I have everything up to 2007.
Yeah.
In PDF form. Okay. So I really love analyzing, like, you know, like a page or something, and it's like, let's just go through and like see like what's weird about it. But you're just like, okay, well, here's Captain America in his own magazine at last, except for the last time he was in his own magazine from before. Blemishes. I love. We haven't talked about the ads, but the ads are great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, is
they're always very wordy in this era. Like, by
who's going to read all this?
Cartoony and stuff, and
I barely have time to read the comic. I'm not going to read all this other.
Like the Clearasil commercials of the 80s are not this. It's like it's just they show the thing and it's like get it to, you know, if you have zits.
I have this. I have Essentials Captain America #1. I have that. I should go. Where is that? I'm wondering. I don't know if that's in here or not. I can look it up. Let me see if I have that in here. Okay. So this is just like a super duper quick, like, I guess just recap here. Because if this was a #1, we would have had some sort of origin, just like to show. And it's like literally, is it literally 2 pages? Well, I guess if you count that,
it's 2, and then he sort of like thinks about it.
I correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe, you know, the listeners can chime in on this. I think this is the first time we see this put together where Namor. It's explained that Namor found the frozen Steve and tossed him into the ocean.
Yeah, I don't think that's in Avengers 4.
Right.
They just
see
him floating in a submarine, and
Is any of this from Avengers 4, or is it redrawn?
I think it's redrawn.
It's redrawn.
It's not actually just taken out. Is this the one you're talking about, Bill? That has that reprinted, that has that original cover?
Yeah, there's an alternate cover for 100, and I guess they wanted something more celebratory. It's Captain America, not just a continuation.
Well, there's I read somewhere that Captain America 100 had a Baron Zemo in the background, like kind of like a larger silhouette type of thing.
Yeah.
But they decided to take him out. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, that there's a large shadow of Baron Zemo.
Right.
And
but
it's, and that's more story oriented. But if you want like the big premiere issue of Captain America, you should show him, and you know, like floating in the
Okay, so is this here?
You reading or what?
So see, it's like, can you see? It's like, can you see that? Okay.
You see the shadow of Zemo in the background.
Right.
That's
up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But still the same figures.
Still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Zemo, you could see the crown kind of sticking out. So that's that is so weird. That is like super. Well, I'm glad I pulled this box out, and it was not for no reason. I pulled it out, and I'm like, why am I even bringing this here? Like, we don't need this, but that's super interesting. Okay,
I'm gonna say this now, and I'm just gonna and you're all gonna think I'm really stupid, but when I was a kid and I read Captain America in comics and stuff, I was always confused by the chainmail thing. I didn't know what it was. It looked like gills to me.
Hmm.
All right,
Because
so
and the problem is there's nothing explaining what this is. You're just reading the story, and no one ever thinks like, you know what? Maybe we should explain why this is drawn like this. This is so weird.
all right,
And whenever they made toys and figures, they never had that detail.
no, some of
So-
them did have. Some of them had
Some
that.
of them did, but yeah. But
Okay,
I
so-
know the superpowers. Sorry, not superpowers. Secret Wars. I don't think it has.
Secret
that,
Wars didn't
you
have
know.
it, but that
Yeah.
was like super low detail. I'm gonna play
Yeah.
this for you, Sean, but and then I'm gonna let's see if Rick has an answer.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What?
Okay,
What,
no,
you didn't think he had gills?
no,
I was like,
don't-
what is this? Why does it look like this? Why isn't it just blue and that's it? You know, yeah.
I didn't know what it was either. I
Yeah.
thought it was some kind of. So, Rick, I'm gonna let you have the final word on this because I'm not sure either. My
It's
toy,
chainmail. That's what it is.
Right.
I know
My
that
Captain-
now, but like,
Right.
yeah.
my Captain America toy did have this. I had the one with the shield that shoots out. Like you put the shield in his like a
What
thing.
the
and it'll
hell's
shoot.
that?
It was like it came with a white little. It was, dude. It was the. Everyone had these. It was the one Spider-Man had the suction cup on his hand.
Okay,
He's
so
like-
it's a Migo thing, right?
It wasn't Migo. It was later on. It was way later than that.
Oh wow.
Well,
So
I
yeah,
think, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think anything that had the chainmail on it came later. I think Sean's right. Any of the earlier stuff never did.
right. It was just
Yeah.
normal. So now, did he have this? Did he have the chainmail in the
He
last
always had
issue?
it. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
had
did
it.
have-
It's
Yeah.
and I forget the term for it. It's I think it's a smaller version of chainmail. I can't remember what someone called it. But that's the version that Steve has had. And you could see some of it. It's obviously they didn't do the full thing. It
Yeah.
really wasn't until much later, like we're talking volume 4, when we have John Cassidy doing it, where he starts doing the larger chainmail. David Johnson, artist, doing the covers, larger chainmail, ring mail. Thank you very much. Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Thanks, bro.
So, yeah, he's supposed to have the smaller ring mail version of the
Right.
chainmail.
All right. So back to this. Okay. So what the heck is Sharon gonna do? This is just a predicament. Look at this. Can you like what is going on here? It's like she's got the big glasses here. It's like, oh, what am I gonna do? He's like, I don't want to read all this, but like, let's get to look at the details on this gun.
I know, you gotta love Jack. That's an
Yeah.
amazing
Look at that.
detail.
This is
Even the
wicked.
floor, the floor has
Yeah.
all the detail.
yes.
Yeah, he piled so much into this particular one, and I have to say the inking is a little heavy. It kind of almost takes away from
Yeah.
it.
What was the guy that who is it?
It's Vince Coletta.
Coletta,
I know
okay,
what you're gonna
okay,
ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's who.
We're not gonna dump on people, man. It's like
Why not? I'm gonna dump on whatever I want to dump on. No,
Hey, we're not in the Capcom Fans Facebook group right now. It's
You're
a
right.
free space. We can say whatever we want.
yeah, that's right. You can say anything you want. I've had so many fights with people on stuff. It's great. So this is awesome. Like this is pretty tense, though. I gotta say, like I read this the other day, and I'm like, shit. Like I don't know. Like you're kind of screwed here, lady. Like what are you like? Like what are you gonna do here, woman? Like you better figure some shit out, because like you're not going anywhere. In the meantime, are you shamed by your English? That's what you really like. If you
Ooh.
are, would you be reading all this?
yeah, would you read like 3 columns of stuff?
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny is a lot of kids, learned how to read by reading through comic books, right?
Yeah.
That was something that a lot of kids went through, and there's some study out there. We had Tom Brevoort on the show. He's the executive VP for Marvel. And he was a longtime editor of Captain America, and he talked about a study that was done. And I can't remember the name of the study, but it's in the episode we talk with him, and he talks about there's 2 sides of the brain, and how comic books is one of the very few mediums out there that stimulate both sides of the brain at the same time. Like
Right.
there's very little else because you see the words and you see the image, and so it stimulates both sides of the brain. So he talked about that, but he talked about how there's more words that are uncommon that you learn in comics than say in a textbook or something like that. So it was really fascinating. But to talk about English, a lot of us learned from reading comics, and to this day I still pick up a comic and I'm like, what does that word mean? And then I have to either look it up or my partner Bob tells me.
And I'm going to ask you both a question that but I want to address this for Bill for a second. This is funny. See, everything's positive here. Everything's great. Let me get what do I got to give you for that one here. Oh, I'll give you this. I'll give you this one, Bill. Great. What do you guys, when you're reading a comic or looking at a comic, what do you do first? Do you look at the pictures first and then read the text, or do you read the text and then look at the pictures? Sean, what do you do?
Oh, read the text and look at the pictures.
You open up the page, you start reading it, and then when you're done reading, then you look and see like what's going on, or do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
I don't know why, but yeah, I do.
Would you read this first, then look at this panel picture, or would you read everything and then look at this?
But it's sort of, well, that's a weird question because my eye can take it all in, right?
Right.
So, like, I read this and I see, but like, as I'm reading it, I'm seeing the action, and that's part of cartooning. That's it's kind of a lost art nowadays.
Right.
And that the action's drawing you to the panels and through the panel and to the word balloons. So it's all part of the same same thing that you're taking in with your eye. I can't explain it, but
yeah,
it's
like
the
okay,
magic of comics, man.
right. So yeah. Oh no, that's good. Yeah. So Rick, do you have like what do you?
I agree with Sean. I read the text first, then I see the image, but at the same time, I'm taking in the image while I'm reading the text. Now, sometimes you're so compelled by the story and you just want to see what's the next thing that's going to happen. You just sometimes just continue with the text because you're just so compelled by the story. I've had to kind of train myself and to slow down and then go back and really appreciate the art, and to go back and kind of really just say, okay, it's more than just her just shooting here and so on, and look at the detail on the floor, look at whatever, and some artists you just are quite frankly you like more than others, and so you'll spend more time appreciating those arts, especially depending on the more detailed artists. But that's how I do it.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's weird for me because like let's say here, when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, this looks cool, and I'm just looking at the art, and then I'm like, okay, let me read this, and I've had that happen a lot where I start reading, and I'm like flip a page, I'm like, wait, I haven't even been looking at this comic. What am I doing? And I'm still training myself to be like, okay, sometimes though, I'll be so into the art too. I'm like, shit, this is cool. I'm like looking, I'm like, oh, and I'll cheat, you look a couple of pages, like, oh, what's coming to happen up next? Oh, that looks cool. Then I'll go back and read. So it's completely different no matter what, depending on what I'm doing. It's just random. I notice with Spawn, I look at the art more because that's what I think of Spawn comics.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, we had Eric Larson on a few months ago, and he was talking about layouts and splash pages.
Yep.
And you talked about pulling ahead and kind of cheating, right?
Right.
He does a lot of splash pages, but the splash page is always going to be on the left-hand side, right?
Right.
Can't have the splash page, which is usually a big reveal, on the right hand side because your eyes just go to it and it ruins the surprise. So it's a turn page. Wow. That's what you're supposed to do. So it's interesting. Everybody does a little bit differently.
Yeah, no, but okay. So this is really cool as we're just talking. So he kind of like ducks it, and she like, this is like what, a combination of him being fast and moving and her kind of aiming a little higher and giving it the I guess the appearance that she tried and he kind of moved or whatever. Look at this panel, man. Like, geez, like this is crazy. But so he's activating his little thingy here.
All right, I have to crack a joke here. So on the right hand side, you have Sharon Carter Agent 13 as Irma Krull, and she's like, so that is the main console, which completely controls the solar ray.
Right.
And he's like, yes, without this, my ray would be no more than a worthless piece of orbiting space debris. Oh,
Stan.
thanks for showing us that. And then he's like, this panel also controls the unbreakable force field, which guards my ray from any attack that shield might make upon it. How very interesting. I was like, oh, okay. Thanks, Baron Zemo, for just explaining how we could defeat you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, thank you. It's like, thanks. It's like, Stan, help me out, man. Come on. But yeah, basically,
he's gonna end this thing, right? He's like, I don't know.
yeah, this has been going on for a few issues, guys. Like, come on, like, let's hurry this up here.
Splask.
All right, so this is basically that's it. We're just going all out nuts. It's like legs and punches and like guys getting shot. Like
Rick, I have a comic question for you. Sound effects or no sound effects in comics?
Love sound effects. Love them.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's a debate nowadays that it's like, why do you need this? Yeah,
gotta love
it's
them.
like your mind just fills it in yourself. But like, I do love reading them.
Yeah,
yeah.
I also collect original art, and
awesome.
Would not be a surprise to you. It's mostly Captain America.
Yeah,
and so I love getting the stuff from the 60s, 70s, 80s because it still has the word balloons, the thought balloons, and it has the sound effects. There's nothing like seeing art that has that on it as opposed to a piece of art that they digitally do that stuff later,
right?
And it's just it misses that. I don't know. I love sound effects.
Yeah, they're cool. Like I got no problem. Like Zach and
well, it looks like more impact, right?
Yeah, this is brutal. This is awesome here. Oh, she's getting into it. Oh, here we go. She's not just like
judo chop.
Like boom. All right, so okay, now it's just look at this guy. Holy shit! I didn't even notice this last time. I just reread this again. Oh my god, this guy got nailed. Like, what happened to this guy? He's like hanging off the edge here. I like this here. This is cool. And I was gonna say too that they can convey a lot in lesser pages. This is one of my problem with what we call the constipated comics, where it's like if Watchmen came out today, it'd be 52 issues long or whatever, because like they can't just get to the story. But we covered this on the Kang issue as well, where it's like, once I think it was Thor. Yeah, Thor was rescued, and then he just rescued. It was like the time in between, like this border and this border. You know what I mean? It's like,
you don't need to show everything as though it's a movie or a storyboard. It's like
storyboard, Sean.
Cartooning is like you get the message and you move on, right?
Yes. So, yeah. So like, look at this is all very fast here. It's like, okay, yeah, these guys are beat up. All right, boom, they're down here, right?
Yeah, but here you go. This will show you how much time has passed in just these few panels. At the bottom left panel, it says, then after 10 minutes of careful advancing, minutes.
Right.
Right.
So this is them.
And yeah, so in just those few panels, minutes went by.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you get the idea of like, okay, so see, like they're coming from here and they're coming towards, and you can tell that they're like kind of like, okay, let's be careful, like what's gonna happen, right? And then and it tells you, and then okay, here's the opening, and boom, and then here he is on this side, and you're like, holy shit, this is like Big Trouble in Little China when the guy when opens the door, he's like, I think we're surrounded. So it's like, well, look at all these guys. Now they're all the same guy. No,
yeah.
They've all been cloned. So it's fine. You can kill them all.
The amount of detail in that one panel, to draw all those guys, and then the console.
Yeah, look at all this here. So it's like what you said, Rick. I've started to train myself to kind of like, because like it's very easy to skip this. Okay, there's a bunch of guys. Okay, there's some shooting. Okay, and you're like, well, hold on a second, go back, and you're like, well, look at all this. Like, does this thing need to be drawn? Well, it makes it cooler. It just feels like it's a real spot.
So this is 1967.
Yeah, cover date 68. Yeah.
So do you know how many monthly comics Jack was drawing?
I was thinking the same thing, Sean. Yeah, he was a machine pumping out
He
a
was a
lot of
machine.
different ones at that time. So
Oh, yeah.
he's probably at least on 4 books at that time.
Yeah. Because I read that Tom Scioli book about Jack Kirby. It's a comic. But he worked into the night, into the wee hours, and he'd have the TV on, watching, Johnny Carson and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't remember how many pages he did a day. It was something insane.
You can Mike's Amazing World will give you weird
Yeah.
info like that.
Yeah, that's a good site.
Yeah, it'll give you weird info. So it's like if you
Yeah.
click on Jack Kirby's name and then it'll like divide it out or whatever for you. It's crazy. And I can't even think about like.
But to put this kind of detail, like that's love and dedication.
Oh yeah,
it's nothing else. It's like that's
10 pages per day. Wow.
Yeah, and that's even today. Because isn't that like an average is like 1 page a day or something for some of these?
Yeah, and the art today is a bit lazy. It's not every comic, but it's a little bit lazy. And also, I don't know how much is relied upon by the guys afterwards. Like, I don't really know. Like, okay, after the pencils are done, then there's the inkers and colors. But
with computers and stuff, I don't know what goes on anymore.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I have no idea like how this.
Like, there's no computers and just like cutting this panel and putting it here. It's like this is just Jack drawing all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how
someone coloring it. Yeah.
All right, guys. All right, I went to Mike's Amazing World because you inspired me.
Oh, nice.
While he was doing Captain America 100, he was also doing Thor 150,
right,
and Fantastic Four 73.
Oh my gosh.
So he was doing those. He did those 3 for Marvel at that time.
Okay.
Right. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
Because and the thing is like those aren't easy ones either. Like it's not like what was it? Was it Tom McFarlane was like he's
and one more. He was doing Not Brand X 7.
Right. And we saw an ad for that here too.
Oh my God, did we? I didn't. Oh, I missed that.
He was doing those four issues at the same time.
So that's about 110 pages or something.
And just so you know, the following month, and I'll stop here. The following month, he did Captain America 101, Thor 151, Fantastic Four 74, Captain America 102, and Thor 152.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So he did 2 Thors and 2 Caps and an FF in the month of February.
So that's at least 100 pages, right? For sure. Because these are all like 20 pages or something.
But he's doing these months in advance probably.
Yeah, that's the cover date. So he was doing to a month to get to that point.
Right.
Yeah, I know at one point he was working ahead to because he was going to leave Marvel. He's working ahead to give him a few extra issues. And it's like, what are you doing, dude? You do enough already, He
didn't want to burn the bridge. It's not like when I quit a job, I was like, I'm out of here. No, I don't. No 2 weeks notice for you guys. No, I've never done that. Okay. So yeah, like this is awesome. And then boom, here's a bunch of guys. And it's just like, now it's like, how many pages has there been without action? Like 3/4 of a page. Cause like even this, I would count as something.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, okay, bang, 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 bang. Then it's like, there's still carnage here. Okay, so this is no action. And like someone's getting nervous. Like, dude, it's been like 3/4 of a page without action. Like, oh shit, I better. Kirby's like, I better get some action in here. This is the scariest thing of all time. We could talk about this weird ad, but like,
I don't understand what this is. What's it advertising?
I don't know.
Is that Frank Zappa? What is that?
I have no idea what this is.
From the mothers.
But look at this. They're going into the time tunnel.
Now, I want to point something out here, though.
Yeah.
Captain America has a machine gun.
Yes.
And he is firing machine gun. And it is not a laser ray because in the third panel, he says, and they don't dare while my ammo holds out. So he is firing machine gun bullets.
Yeah.
Here it is, Captain America 100. I know there's, some Cap fans out there like, well, Cap doesn't kill and he doesn't. Well, Stan Lee certainly put a gun in his hand in the very first, ongoing series.
he went to war. You know, he was in World War II,
Right.
and so was Kirby. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we could get into a debate, Sean. I think I look at Captain America as two types. There's the super soldier,
yeah,
and then there's a superhero.
Right.
Now, I grew up on the superhero.
right,
So I grew up on, the Captain America from Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, in
Right.
that period, right? He was a
Right.
superhero. So he wasn't a super soldier. Yes, he was during World War II.
yeah,
But apparently he's still a little bit of a super soldier here. And then there's a part, I think, during Ed Brubaker's run where he probably is more of a super soldier
Right.
because he has no qualms about killing in Ed Brubaker's run. But that whole period for, almost 40 years, he was a superhero.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's tough. I don't think it's not as clear as like Batman where he's stated it. I think like it's like Captain America won't execute someone or kill in cold blood, but if someone gets killed, like I mean, when he throws that shield too, like I mean, that's a shield coming at your head, right? So that's
Mhm.
got to be like I mean, you're going to be concussed, best case scenario, worst case, it's like you're just dead. So I don't, but it's not that he's not gonna like execute someone on purpose. It's like if guys get shot, like let's say in this panel, it's like he's shooting, and I think it's more like he's keeping them away.
Mhm.
It's not so much that he's aiming to be like, okay, I'm gonna pick these guys off. He's more like, I'm shooting guys, you better not come in here. And he's just like holding them off and not so
Could
much
be.
necessarily
Yeah,
like saying
that's a
I'm
good
trying
point.
to,
yeah,
right? Like I'm not trying to pit it the same Walking Dead, like he's picking off guys or whatever.
Mhm.
So, and that's what I think he's even alluding to. He's like saying, well, they're not going to come while my ammo is, keeping them away. So,
Well, I don't want to, be the counter to what you're saying, but there
Yeah.
is a time during Mark Gruenwald's run where they introduced a Flag Smasher and Ultimatum.
yeah,
I think it was around the issue 321, 322
I have got those.
back
Yeah.
in 1985, 86. And that's where Cap does make a choice to kill a terrorist who's about to fire on a bunch of civilians. And Mark Gruenwald was anti-gun, and he made sure that Steve wrestled with that decision for a long time afterwards.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, things are going to happen, but I don't think it's as like, to me, it's not as shocking. Like it's just like, okay, well, he had no choice kind of a thing. And he's killed before. Like if he's killed already before, then it is what it is. I'm not too like, I won't, if someone says, yeah, Cap shouldn't kill, I won't debate it. If someone says, well, he can, if he needs to, I won't debate that either.
when the situation demands, right?
When the situation, yeah.
Yeah,
To me, more like that, like that's more of like a Batman Superman argument rather than like a Captain America argument or whatever. It's like, well, he was a soldier. I mean, guys got killed, right? Okay, so okay, now I just got look at this awesome guy. Well, like I like that there's like more guys that just show up. That's one of my big catchphrases is more
Yeah.
guys. Because you're like, okay, well, there's all these guys. You're like, yeah, all right, whatever. It's like,
I'm a
all right, well,
random
who,
villain at the end.
it's like,
Yeah,
it's like, guys, it's page 14. Why is there not a new villain introduced to us? Like, shit, I better introduce a new villain right now.
it's the boss fight in a
And
video
this is
game.
the
Yeah,
boss fight.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's the Destructon.
Yeah,
Yeah. And like literally, yeah, okay, so Destructon. Yeah, that's it. He's like, oh, you can see like he's so angry that literally he's like his anger is coming through the mask. And he just smashed this guy with the shield too. And it's like now it's like toe to toe and like double uppercut. This is again, there hasn't been
Uppercut.
it's like, yeah, sure you can. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Were we gonna say something?
no, I
Sean?
was gonna say like Jack Kirby's fight layouts were always like the best to me of this era. You really got it because he really depicts the dynamism of the characters. Like the figures are really swooping here and punching there. I mean, everyone else is great too, but like I think like with Jack Kirby, you really feel it, you know. And in your mind's eye, you can actually go through the fight as you're reading it. So
I super agree with that. That's why I've been giving all these ratings like high also, like, because you're reading, you're like, this is really exciting. This is what comic books, like, this is what comic books are to me. Like, you need to have a story, of course. I hate talking heads. I'm going to bag on X-Men for just a second. I was an X-Men guy. I read every X-Men book. And then they had the Quiet Council, and there's literally an issue where all of the X-Men are talking about what Mr. Sinister might be planning to do. I'm like, I don't know, something bad? Like, what the shit? Where is the fight? I used to read X-Men comics because it was a bunch of cool guys that all looked cool. They all looked cool, and they all beat the crap out of everybody. What the heck happened? You can have a storyline, and I'm an adult now, but at some level, it also has to be fun. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You get a whole bunch of comics and you'd be like, who am I going to read? And look, we picked comics based on what the characters look like first. You thought Spider-Man looked cool. You're like, this looks cool. And then you got the story. I understand the story and the characterizations is very important, but that came after you saw the guy. You're like, whoa, who's this guy? Or Superman. We all, I grew up with Superman. He's like, wow, he flies. He can punch guys. This is awesome. And then you got into the story, right? So, I mean, you got to sell it on action. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what comic I bought. I just bought one. I'm not going to name it because it's new. I bought something and I was like, this is like, what is this horse shit? Like, nothing. I literally flip through all comics now before I even do anything. I'm like, nothing happens. There's no fighting in this. I'm putting it back. And it's just like, I don't want to see like head dialogue, then angry dialogue. It's like, this is not action.
Now
like,
you would not have liked Brian Michael Bendis's Daredevil run then, because man, that you just described that.
Is that what it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I love Daredevil, but I don't have. I actually bought every single Daredevil thing on digital, but I've not read any of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
love
started
Brian
from
Michael
number one.
Bendis's run. I thought it was amazing, but it sounds like it's not something that you would appreciate.
Not well to me. Daredevil's a ninja, and I need ninja. Like, I've been reading Daredevil 1, and I'm up to, I don't know what issue I'm on, like 20 something. Like, I started with number 1, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool, right? And I know he's kind of like they thought he's like kind of a second-rate Spider-Man, but then I'm wearing my Daredevil shirt right now. And I've got my Daredevil shelf right here. I've got an entire shelf. I love Daredevil. He's one of my favorites, but like, it's mostly because I like Frank Miller stuff, because that's kind of like, I've got those big omnibuses or whatever. But yeah, and then I liked when they did was it Charles Soule? Is that?
Yep. He's the writer.
I liked those. I like those. So there you go. But no, I never read Bendis. Bendis is a coin flip, man. Sometimes I like that guy's thing, and sometimes I don't. And when I don't like it, I don't like it. And when I like it, I'm like, yeah, it's really good. So I know Clobby, if Clobby's still in the chat, he hates Bendis. So we're not gonna no Bendis bashing today. You ruined Jonathan Kent. No, okay, stop it. So let's get back to this epic, like this. Look at this shit. Boom! Like two fists, and like. Is she holding the gun? I always thought, like, not always, because I only read this like last week or whatever, but like, she's holding the gun here weird to me. It's like, why are you holding it?
Sort of like this, and looks
sort
like
of a weird.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, it's been pretty awesome, this entire battle here. And look at this, is cool too. It's like, well, give me 1 second. I heard some thumping. We had Sean and I had a absolute massive snowstorm. Like,
I shoveled all day.
Shoveled all day.
That sucks.
Yeah. I live in a condo, so I watch people.
And the problem with that is it makes the snow way heavier. So. Yeah.
Oh, that's brutal. No, it was absolute. Like, my wife was taking pictures. It was like it looked like it was like something out of a movie. It was crazy. Charles was a lawyer. Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so let's get back to the fighting here. Fighting.
I agree on the Charles Soule. Loved it.
Yep. Yeah, I liked it a lot as well. He was at a show, and I went to go meet him. The lineup was like stupid. I'm like, oh yeah, that's not happening right now. I'll come back, and then we ran out of time. All right, so here's what I spoiled half an hour ago or whatever. So we're fighting this big, huge guy. And then what does this he say? He says his punch paid off. I was lucky enough to smash his mobility control. Oh, that was good. Good job, Cap.
Yeah.
And then fire at, like, I always like when the font when they get a special font for something, because then you know it's like serious. You're like,
Got
okay,
the
this
yell
guy's
right there. Yeah.
fire, I will. Okay, so again, we defeated this guy, but we're not done yet. No, but here we go. So Cap's got him, and then boom, there you go. That now this helmet, like this mask is like really baggy. Couldn't the guy have like tied it better around? But so now we have this guy. So who is this character? Does anyone know?
It's not the real Baron Zemo?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can play that.
Yeah, you don't have that, but yeah.
I do have that. I do have the clip. Hold on. I have that clip. You asked for it, Sean, so you will have it.
Oh my
So but has this character appeared before? Like,
he was
would we
his
have known?
pilot, and he was there when he was killed in Avengers 15. And then he pretended to be Zemo afterwards.
Okay.
But here's
so he was actually
here's what blows my mind. The guys turn on him because he fooled them, and they were like, well, wait a minute, you're a traitor, you deceived us, we only serve Zemo. And then they kill him. They fire and kill him, and Cap just stands there. He's like, you know, oh well. Okay,
This guy put me through a lot of trouble. Like, you know, I was, you know, it's like I had to like team up with Black Panther, and I had to go through all this stuff. It's like, well, I'm tired. Captain America's tired at this point. He's like, I can't be bothered.
It's weird, but like
it is weird. It's like super weird. It's like, oh, okay.
I guess they couldn't depict him like trying to lunge with his shield and then missing or something. I don't know.
Yes. Wait, I thought he was in Die Hard.
That's Hans Gruber.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Hans Gruber, ladies and gentlemen, please. I love that. Yeah, so it's like you're like, oh well, I guess that's it for that guy. So you know, there goes my Cap doesn't like killing.
And that takes care of that adventure. And
they all like pinch each other. So the battle is won. Now, was Black Panther's identity known, or?
Yeah, he's a king. He's King T'Challa.
Yeah. So they know, like these guys aren't shocked.
Yeah, the kings are all Black Panthers, right? So
yeah. So these guys wouldn't be like wise, like, oh, we know who Black Panther is now. It's not a big deal.
Wait,
what is Sydney? What is Sydney Poitier doing here?
Yeah, yeah, it totally looks like him there. Yeah.
I have so many Sidney Poitier movies. He's awesome.
I used to love when Marvel would do that. Not here. I don't know if they're doing it here, but they would always draw a character as an actor to try and get that person on board. It's like it happened with Blade. I keep saying this. In the early 90s, Blade looked like Mario Van Peebles.
Wesley Snipes?
Well, he looked like Mario Van Peebles, and then he turned into Wesley Snipes, and I was like, oh, now they're quoting this actor.
Well, that's because Mario Van Peebles is like, screw you, I'm doing Solo. I don't need
I'm
to
doing
do
Solo. No one will ever remember this movie except for Jay.
Except for me, which I love that movie. So I don't. It's just,
yeah.
All right, and then we've got Fury, and the teasing of the Red Skull.
All right, I just want to point something out here because this honestly just hit me today. Okay. So they had this giant laser coming from the sky, this orbit that can go and destroy anything in its path, right? Okay. Now, there is some sort of force field around this that is impenetrable. However, down on in the jungle, there's this small base that controls the force field. Right. If you go and send a small crack team to this little place and take out the generator, then they can destroy the big thing in the sky. Holy crap, is this Return of the Jedi?
It is.
Did Return of the Jedi get their idea from this story?
That's really crazy.
Yeah. It's like that whole Fantastic Four thing where that dinner scene with Dr. Doom. and it's like that always like that panel always looked like the dinner scene or whatever that is in Empire Strikes Back, where Darth Vader's at the head of that table.
Yeah, where
right?
you stop.
Yeah. So am
Yeah.
I the only one, or am I
No,
thinking that somehow George Lucas stole that whole idea with Endor and the new Death Star and from this story?
I think
Yeah.
he ripped off Marvel a lot.
I think
I think
George
you're
Lucas-
right. I don't
No,
know.
that's crazy though.
Yeah.
That is very crazy. And
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, that I mean, wow, that's like uncanny. Like,
Whew.
That's a
I
completely
don't know.
different series, Jay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
X-Men, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This issue is 68. Oh, so yeah, no, it's definitely enough time. But yeah, that I wonder if someone can do like some investigative work. They should just ask George. It's like, George, did you steal from Captain America 100?
Yeah, 15 years later.
Yes,
Like-
yes, I did.
I did.
Fathers and sons. That's my George Lucas.
I figured that was what was happening.
He
but-
sounds like a Muppet.
I couldn't tell if that was Yoda.
Let's yap with Cap. There you go. Oh yeah, the fourth sleeper. That was cool too.
That's cool.
All right, guys.
Yeah, the
let's
sleepers
close
was
that off.
awesome. Yeah.
That is
Anyway.
awesome. What's the? Oh, look at oh, perfect. 9:30 on the dot for me here. I said I'm not going to take this further than 9:30, and I did not lie. Anything to add about Captain America 100 or just in general? Well, Rick, do you have anything else to add to this?
No, I don't. Yeah, we covered a lot, and listen, Cap finally got his ongoing series, and at last, right, as they say on the cover, and people were very excited. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Masters at their trade, pumping a lot out. So this kicks off a very, very worthwhile long run for Steve Rogers.
Awesome, yeah, and these are all cool. Sean, what any final thoughts?
I miss this whole feel of the dynamic action and science fiction in Captain America, which I don't feel we get as much nowadays. But yeah, no, it's a different feel. It's very entertaining. The colors pop. The art is awesome. I wasn't even there in this time, and I miss it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I wish I was there in this time to like
Yeah.
get all these. Like, if you're reading all of those books that Rick mentioned that Jack's working on, like, can you imagine? Like, wow, this is so. I mean, they're worth something now, but like, just the excitement of it before, like, you would reread them. I mean, I've reread these last few ones, not just for the stream, but I was just like, I really like that. I'm gonna just read that again. And man, I can't think of any newer comic that I reread. Maybe a couple of issues of Gunslinger Spawn just because they look cool. But like, I don't really go back and even getting older. But like getting older, I'm thinking I'm going back to getting more of these older issues and trying to find them. That's what we do at these shows now. We just anyone selling anything new, we just kind of bypass them and be like, sorry, you're not my vendor.
Jay, should we get off your lawn now too? Or
you should. Oh yeah, I'm a gatekeeper, by the way. Yeah, I'm a big time gatekeeper. So I'm like what was that game called? Nightmare. Yes, my gatekeeper. Remember the gatekeeper?
Oh God.
I'm the keymaster, but
I'm
anyway.
the keymaster. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you should check out the new Cap stuff. There are 2 ongoing series right now. Sentinel of Liberty, which stars
I got that.
Steve Rogers, and then you have Symbol of Truth, which stars Sam Wilson.
Wilson.
And they're good stories. They're good stories. They're true to the character. You could tell. I mean, we've had both writers on the show, and you can tell they're like us. They're fans. Right. They went and back and reread a ton of Captain America stories to really truly be prepared for this. They have great big visions and ideas. What they're doing with the outer circle in the Symbol of Truth is really interesting. And then now they have a crossover coming up for Cold War. So it's good stuff. So if it's not all new stuff's crap. So give it a try.
I
Yeah.
always give it a try. I still go to the shop every week.
I was buying both of those
Oh,
actually.
Rick looks like Jim Starlin. There you go.
Oh,
well,
thanks.
surprise because no.
Did you
It is
like
Jim
my
Starlin.
yeah, did you like my cameo in the Avengers movie? That was yeah.
But yeah, no, I still go every week, support my local comic book shop. I can't say the letters because I always screw them up. LC, local, whatever. I always go to my local shop and get stuff, and I still get suckered into everything. And then I read it, and then I'm like, yeah, this is okay. Or, you know, I do my old man routine. And Sean still goes. I know, Sean, you're going somewhat. You sporadically go.
Yeah, I've run out of funds recently, but but I go from time to time, and I was buying both those caps until recently. I dropped them just because I couldn't afford it, but I like Similar Truth a lot, of the two. So, but yeah,
Wait, which one is that? Is that the Sam Wilson one?
the Sam Wilson one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the Sam Wilson one.
because they're throwing more classic villains into that one. I
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the Crossbones.
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, a few others. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, I've got Sentinel Liberty on digital. I have those on digital. I didn't get the Sam Wilson ones. I wasn't even aware of that comic.
They're both at the same
until you
time.
mentioned it on the thing.
Yeah, they had one that launched both of them, and then they just had the two dovetail from that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was weird, right? Like, I don't know. I've got the thing is when I go, I'll say this real quick and then we'll end it. When I go on Tuesdays, and the shop owner just gives me everything on my pull, and I can buy stuff earlier, right? I can buy stuff.
You don't mention that live.
Yeah,
they could
okay.
get in trouble.
they don't know the thing. I can, you know. But anyways, but I don't review it or anything, right? So I usually can go, but there's like so many people there that are just my place is like a hangout place where everyone chit chats forever, and I just can't hang out. I have to go quick. Like usually it's on my way back from work, and there's like heavy traffic, so I have to like go in and out. So I literally run in, grab my pull, and leave. So I have to know about it in advance to be able to get it. But anyways, hopefully we didn't get anybody in trouble. Everything's good. LC, I know I can't. LCS, yes, LCS. I know. Thanks. All right, guys, that is it. Make sure you guys check out Rick's Facebook group and podcast. The link is in the description of this video, but also it was pinned and the live chat is there if you watch it. So if you're watching this again later, check out the description and all the links are there, and also in the live chat, which will update as you're watching it. We are doing our fantasy verses. We're going to start that in a couple of weeks. So the next time I'm coming on is going to be Tuesday for Wrestling Talk with Steve. That's it. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone in the comments. Until next time.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.